using the house. Oh. 6 minutes. Where's the list of Zoomers?
They'll appear.
Oh, cool.
If they don't, I'll alter them remotely.
Are you going to let them in remotely?
Yeah.
We're on the book of the face though now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Dang it. 6 minutes.
Ooh. Just doing an involuntary kiss.
Hmm?
Trying to see if I can get you a bit of picture anyway.
Good picture.
Maybe it isn't that strong.
Can you see my cup?
Rachel's in.
Can you see my cup in the picture? Just about.
Hi Rachel.
Hi, Rach. Where are you? It's going. That's what it's doing.
I've walked off with this in my hand.
I don't go away with that. Thanks. How are you doing, Rach? Where are you? Hi, everyone at home on Facebook. We'll be getting started shortly, in about 5 minutes or so. If you've got any equipment that you want to grab, any props, you might something strap-like, rolled up tea towel or hand towel or something, maybe a cushion or a brick, maybe a rolled up blanket, something like that. That might be quite beneficial. So we're flying back to Chill 7. I've just been having a look at it, and it looked more energetic than our recent rounds, I think. So we'll mix it up. I've made a few adjustments just so we can relax, because we do want to chill out, don't we? I feel like I've been up forever today. It's been a long day. Hey, Paolo. He's back. You let Paul in, Chris? He's in? Oh, fab. Sorted. I was just saying, Paul, I don't know if you heard me, I've made a couple of adjustments because it looks quite a strong chill. Must have been feeling strong when we wrote this. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I think it's possibly more like no, it's nice. But I think since we've added Bliss into the mix, people have got into that hot nap, snoozy state and want chill to be the same. We just spend a bit longer in poses, don't we? But yeah, I've made a couple of adjustments. We'll keep it nice and soft. We'll not take any challenging modifications. We'll just take it nice and easy. Are you still there, Rachel? She's here. Oh, hello. How are you? Good. Have anyone managed to get outside today? Lovely. Yeah, the wind was a bit chilly. Chris has tried to move our home office into the tree house at our farm. So we were there for a little bit while the kids played and did things. But the amount of birds that are down there is fantastic. It's really, 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 really good. Yes. Well, we see all sorts down there. I mean, obviously the chucks and ducks are there, but all the ponds have got frog spawn and little tadpoles in, little frogs, fish. We've got all sorts down there. It's nice to It's a nice space and you can see all over the Rivlin Valley. We're very fortunate. Very lucky. Yeah. What's this saying on here? Chris has nipped out and left me with a... Hey, hi Matt. How are we doing? You got no monkeys pushing you over today? All right then, we've just got a few seconds before we start. So I was just saying, Matt, if you've got a... oh, there he is. If you've got a block or strap or something similar to that, that might be beneficial to bring into the little yoga party that we're going to have on our mats tonight. You're not pushing... It's James, isn't it? Yeah, you're not pushing Daddy over today, James. Shouldn't give you ideas, should I? Right, I'm going to pop my earpiece out and we shall get started, folks. So I've got the clip-on mic, so I'm going to be try not to be too shouty because I don't know how loud it's going to sound to you guys at home. So welcome everyone, welcome into chill number 7, and we're going to get started in a wide-legged child's pose. So taking the knees out wide, bringing the big toes to touch, and we're either going to slide our hands out long on the mat if you're feeling like you need a bit of a stretch out through the shoulders, or you can bring the elbows down, bringing the hands behind the head. Just connecting with the breath here in your child's pose, whatever that looks like this evening. You might want to tent through the fingers, allowing the palms to lift off the floor and finding a heaviness to the hips as you melt them down towards the heels. Don't worry if they don't quite reach. If you want to pop a cushion in between the hips and the heels, that can feel quite nice. So the aim here of our chill class is exactly what it says on the tin. We have got a few stronger poses in there as well, which we can play around with, but we can always take the softer versions of those poses. So just breathing in for me here in your wide-legged child's pose. Yo, Dad. Letting the forehead drop down, letting the fingers reach forward slightly, letting the shoulder blades melt away from the ears, letting the hips soften. Maybe you're feeling a bit of a tightness in the hips. Really working into that connected breath here. Whatever's been going on during your day, just taking a bit of ease and a bit of release here, spending a bit of time just for you here on your mat. Nice deep breath in and out. One more inhale and exhale. So we're going to change this up a little bit and take a slight twist to our child's pose. So taking a breath in, on the exhale we're going to start walking our hands over towards the left. So you can keep the arms parallel if you like, or you might want to pop your right hand on top of your left hand, letting the head melt down between the biceps. Just opening out into the right side of the body. Try not to lift up with the hips if you can. Keep them melting down towards the floor, softening those shoulders and finding that breath. Deep, full, steady breath in and out. Just imagine the space that you're creating through the right rib cage, through the vertebra. Gentle stretch out all the way from your right hip to your fingertips. One more breath. Inhale. And then exhale, making your way back to center. And let's move it over to the other side. Take that breath in. And then moving on the exhale, walking both hands over to that lovely stretched out position. Feeling the lovely stretch down the left side this time. Maybe popping the left hand on top of the right if that feels okay. Deep breaths into the body and out. Really working hard to release those shoulders down towards the hips. Feeling the left rib cage expand and lift and open. For another 3. Gently warming up the hips here as well. Finding space in the back. Final breath. Inhale. And release the breath. Back to center we go. Pressing into the hands nice and firmly. We're going to rise up into that all fours pose, known as tabletop. Walk the hands back under the shoulders and walk the knees back underneath the hips there. Now it's up to you whether you have the tops of the feet down or whether you tuck the toes on this one. We're going to take a cat-cow flow. So working with the inhale. The move always comes from the pelvis, so you can imagine that tuck and roll of the pelvis. That's what we're going to be working with. So as you spread out the fingers here, squeeze the upper arms together. We're going to inhale, tilt the pelvis, and we're going to drop the belly down and then start to roll through the spine. So we're taking the gaze forwards. Okay, so we're lifting up through the chest, pressing the heart forwards and really opening up the lungs, opening up the throat. I'm just going to breathe in here just for a couple of breaths. See how far down the back you can sink the shoulder blades on this one. Can you cushion of your spine? On your next exhale, think about tucking your imaginary tail between your legs as you round nice and slowly, nice and carefully through the spine, letting the chin and the chest come nice and close, allowing yourself to round through the upper back here. But don't hold the breath. I still want you to feel that flow of breath as it moves in and out of the body. Just finding lots of room through the upper back, the middle back. And then finding our flow with the breath this time. So working with that single breath, we inhale, tilt the pelvis, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, finding your angry cat. Really pressing to the ceiling as much as you can through the arch. Inhaling once more, finding your cow pose, squeezing the upper arms in, lifting the chest. Exhaling, rounding through the spine once more, finding your angry cat. And then releasing back to your tabletop. So we're going to find a thread the needle pose here. It's a nice one for releasing through the back, the upper back and the shoulders. So finding your tabletop, we're going to rise up on the inhale with the right arm. Let the gaze follow the right arm if you can. As you exhale, let the right hand float underneath the body, behind the left wrist, coming all the way over to the left side of your space. As you do so, lower down with the right ear towards the ground. You can extend your left arm out in front of you if you wish. If you want a bit more stretch through that top left shoulder, you can press into the fingertips a bit more. Another option which can feel quite nice is to take the left arm all the way over the lower back and see if you can feed it into the crease in front of your right hip. So we're letting gravity move the weight down through this right shoulder. If you can imagine what's happening with the big deltoid muscles here, really forcing them to stretch out and reach, as well as finding a little twist through the torso, which is always lovely for the digestion. Keeping the sit bones lifted nice and tall. For 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Release the left hand underneath the left shoulder. Inhale, press back through center. And let's go on the other side. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders if they've moved slightly. Inhale, rise up with the left arm. Let the gaze follow the fingertips. Exhale, posting the left hand behind the right wrist this time. Snuggling right down onto that left shoulder. And as before, option to walk out with the right hand, maybe tensing the fingers, or maybe releasing the right hand all the way around into that left hip crease, if that would feel comfortable for you. Again, thinking about the breath here, thinking about how the breath can alter the pose. That's the good thing about this chill sequence, we get to spend a bit more time in the poses. So as you release the breath, see what space you can find. Maybe it's space in the hips, the shoulders, maybe even the chest, the throat. For 3, 2, 1. Release wherever you are. Right hand underneath right shoulder. Inhale, coming back through center, and then finding a little tuck of the toes and a little scoop of the sit bones. Not too high just yet. I want you to keep a nice big deep knee bend. Let the head hang down. So I want you to release the back of the neck. Maybe just give the head a shake. So we've got lots of knee bend here. Practice releasing into the arms first of all, so squeezing the upper arms together. Make sure you're pressing down through the knuckles in both hands evenly, and then maybe starting to press one heel down towards the floor, and then swapping over to the other side. So pedaling out your dog here. For another 3. So just finding a bit of space again in the lower back and the backs of the legs. 2. And for 1, well done. Starting to take the gaze forward, start to creep the toes forwards towards the fingers if you can. Inhaling, finding a flat back. So finding a long spine here. Imagine somebody's got a piece of string pulling you forwards from the crown of your head, and also somebody's pulling your hips backwards. So you're really finding space between each vertebrae. Exhale on your next out breath, finding a release into a floppy forward fold. Letting the arms dangle down. Letting the hands wrap around the elbows if you like. Maybe having a little sway around in your forward fold. Just seeing how that feels in the hamstrings tonight. Just again allowing yourself a bit of time for reflection on how you're feeling in this position. You can have as much knee bend as you like here. This semi-inversion allowing you to let the oxygenated blood flow down towards your upper body with ease. Okay, finding center, softening the knees, inhaling, slowly rolling up, all the way up, reaching up nice and tall, stretching up high. And as you exhale, floating the left arm forwards and the right arm back if you can. If you've not got the space, just cactus the arms, so bend at the elbows. So we're just opening into a bit of a twist. Both arms want to be at shoulder height if you can, and see if you can keep the hips facing forwards. Now, looking over towards the right, or maybe even looking towards your back fingers if that feels available. 1 more breath, inhale. And then exhale, bringing both hands up into the air and switching sides. So allowing the left hand to release behind you and the right arm forward. Again, trying to steer the left hip on this side forwards if you can. So we're really working into that mobility in the spine. So keeping the gaze towards the left hand side, or maybe to that back hand if you can. Standing nice and tall, releasing the shoulders. 1 more inhale. And exhale, taking the hands up into the air, exhaling, releasing hands down to heart center, and slowly then starting to release all the way down, back into your forward fold. So taking the hands down onto the ground, and if you need to get the knees nice and bent for that, that's fine. We're going to alternate our forward fold with a lift of one heel. So as you lift the right heel, see if you can straighten out the left leg. So obviously we're reducing the intensity of the stretch here. So you're still wanting to let the head dangle down. When you feel ready to swap over, press down into the right heel as you lift up with the left. So you should start to feel that engagement down the back of your extended leg. But just by taking one leg at a time, and again, other side, keep switching it over. And final switch when you're ready. Plant down with the right heel, lift up with the left. Nice work. Hands plant till we step back into a downward facing dog once more. So readjust your dog if you need to. We're going to have a little twist dog here just to, again, find some space in the spine. It might mean taking the hands and the feet a little bit closer together. Let the head hang heavy. Take an inhale as you exhale, reaching over somewhere on your left leg with the right hand. So it could be the inside of the calf, it could be the outside of the calf, it could be the left ankle. Maybe taking the gaze underneath your left armpits, as it were, keeping the sit bones nice and high and trying to avoid dropping the hips to one side. So think about the ankles, the knees and the hips staying in alignment here. 1 more breath, inhale, and exhale, release the right hand. Inhale to prepare, exhale, over we go with the left hand somewhere on that right leg as before. Stretching out, reaching out, finding space in the hamstrings here. For another 3. See if you can press the heels down a bit more. Straighten out the legs, 2. And 1, lovely stuff. Taking the hands down and just dropping onto the knees there. Okay, so we're going to take a little kneeling twist. So sitting up tall through the spine, take the left hand onto the right knee, sweeping the right hand all the way around behind the toes. Make sure that we're leading with the crown of the head, so we want to find that lift upwards before we start to rotate around. Taking the gaze slowly to wherever feels comfortable. You don't have to look over that back shoulder. Just enjoy mobilizing the different parts of the spine, finding space. Maybe closing the eyes again, just analysing a little bit on how your back is feeling. If you've got any persistent niggles, this might feel quite nice to release. 1 more breath, inhale, and then exhale, coming round again to the other side. So right hand to the left knee, left hand plants, sit up tall once more. So you really want to draw in with the navel towards the lower back before you start that rotation around. Full steady breaths for 3, 2, and 1. Good. Inhale, come back through center, releasing forwards back to tabletop, and then tucking the toes, lifting up the sit bones, dropping the head down, allowing the chest to melt towards the thighs, and starting off with a bit more of an energetic section now. So we're going to take an inhale and lift up with the right leg. So see if you can press and connect that left heel towards the floor. So stretching out, find as much length as you can in your 3-legged dog. And I want you to draw the right knee towards the nose. I just want you to hold it there for 3, 2, keep squeezing, and 1. See if you can pop the right foot down between the hands. So we're working into a lunge here. Okay, so you can stay with the back knee lifted, or you can drop that back knee down, whatever feels comfortable for you. I'm going to rise up into a full lunge. I want to make sure that your knee is over your ankle on this one, and the hips are coming down. So I want you to feel strong, engage this thigh here so the knee doesn't move around too much. And you can keep the hands here at heart center for an easier variation, or you can take the arms into the air if you're feeling like a bit more of a challenge. If you're feeling quite open, you can always take your hands into a reverse prayer around the back of the sort of in between the shoulder blades, bringing the palms together so the pinkies are touching the spine. So any variation here, working into the legs. Remember, you can drop down onto that back knee if you do want a little bit more stability. The back heel should be lifted on this one if you can. 2 more breaths before we have a little bit of a twist. 1 more, inhale, and exhale, releasing the hands to the heart center. If you want to take a twist with the knee lifted, you're floating the left elbow outside of the right thigh. If you want to bring that back knee down, take a squeeze and a lift of the torso, and then find that rotation around if you can. So working into toning the glutes, the thighs, also finding a nice twist through the torso, which engages the waist and the side body, and allows your internal organs to get a bit of a press and a squeeze, which keeps them healthy as well. So give yourself another breath in, and another breath out. Well done. Inhale, come back through center, and we're going to take the right hand down onto the inside of the right foot. So keeping the back knee down, taking a squeeze and a lift of the left arm, and just finding a little bit more rotation. It's almost like an extended side angle, but we've got the back knee down instead, so it's a kneeling variation. Taking a lift here as high as you can with the fingers, really firing up the inside of this right leg for 3. If that feels a bit alien looking up towards the ceiling, you can always take the gaze down. 2. And 1, well done. Floating the left hand down, taking the right hand on the outside of the right foot, tucking the toes here, lifting back up, and then see if you can float forwards. I just want you to catch the balance first of all. So taking the left foot off the floor. If you're feeling okay with that, you can start to lower the head down a little bit more and lift up with the left foot a little bit more. So we're aiming to bring the hands in line with the right foot rather than creating a tripod. Okay, so that's going to challenge the balance in our standing split. So it's a lovely little semi-inversion as well as an extender, and it works the glutes nice and hard as well. For 3, maybe close the eyes. 2, and 1. Well done. See if you can float down with control with that back left foot. And we're going to walk our hands around to the long left side of your mat now, pivoting on the feet so that we come into a wide leg forward fold. So you can take the feet as wide as you like on this one. Just make sure you're not sliding away through the feet. Hands can come down onto the ground. And when you're ready, you can start to release down to wherever you feel comfortable. If you've got a brick or a pillow or something like that and you want to rest your forehead on it, if you're up quite high, that's cool. But keep playing around with your forward folds. Really lovely way of releasing. A nice way to de-stress as well. Reduces anxiety. So have a little rock forwards and backwards in the feet maybe. And see how that feels in the backs of the legs. So we're going to take 5 breaths here. Really working into the backs of the legs and the lower back. Find that release. Let the shoulders hang down. Let the head hang down. No pressure to get your head on the floor or anything like that. Just enjoy this pose, being upside down. Keep the sit bones nice and high. Well done. 3 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Really feeling your way into that biting point maybe in the hamstrings, using the breath to find a bit more comfort there. Okay, well done. Press into the hands on your next breath in. And maybe taking the hands to the hips or softening the knees and rising all the way up. So we're going to take a triangle pose here. So maybe just heel toe the feet in a little bit. Taking the right toes forwards, and so you've got that nice heel to inner arch alignment. Or if you're feeling quite balanced, maybe heel to heel. 2 straight legs on this one. So the back toes are turned out. We're going to float the arms up to shoulder height, so in this beautiful star shape. We take a breath. As we release the breath, we're going to reach forwards with the right hand, coming forwards as we slide the left hip back. From there, we're going to allow our left hand to reach up high as our right hand comes down towards the ground. So if you find that you're sticking your bottom out a little bit, I want you to press forward, engage the glutes as you press forward with the hips. So it doesn't matter whether your arms are quite high up off the floor or whether you can get your hands down to the floor. What matters is keeping the pelvis tucked under. So you find that large expanse through the arms, opening up through the side body and through the chest, as well as working into the groin and the muscles in this front leg particularly as well. If you want a little bit more support, you can always take the right hand onto your shin or onto a brick. Full breath in. And out. Lovely. Trinity's trying to stack the left hand above the right if you can. Final time. Inhale. As you exhale, take the gaze down to the front foot, soften the front knee, rise on up, and see if you can step forward towards the front of your mat, bringing the left foot next to the right. So just going to have a little play around with a flowing chair next. So when you're ready, rise up with the arms, inhale, sweep them high. Exhale, come down into your zigzag position, your seated position, where the knees are over the ankles and the sit bones are heading towards the back of your mat. Arms are lifted, but we're trying to get the chest lifted as well. So maybe take the arms to the hands to the heart center if that feels like a bit too much of a challenge. But we're not going to hold them there for long. We're going to have a little flow. So inhale, rise up. Exhale, release the arms behind you. As you release the arms behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades together and extend the arms. Work the triceps a little bit. Inhale. Exhale. And again, inhale. Exhale. Final time. Inhale. Exhale, all the way down with the hands, step back, find down dog. Well done. Let's going to take that second flow on our other side now. So starting off with dog, we're going to press into the right heel as we lift up with the left leg this time. Let the head be heavy. Feel strong in your dog. Feel balance, feel connected through the knuckles. Inhale, bring the knee to the nose. I want you to squeeze and hold that knee there as close as you can. For 3, just developing a bit of core strength. Bit of shoulder strength. 2. And 1. Continue the journey forwards. Take the left foot between the hands. From here, you've got the option of taking a high lunge or a low lunge. Make sure as you lift up that your left knee is over the left ankle. So what I mean by that is if you're too far forwards, you're not going to feel that level of connection and support. So make sure that the hips are coming down, back heel is lifted, hands can come to heart center or hands in the air if you like. So toning the glutes, toning the abs as you stretch out and reach if you've got the arms lifted. You can have the back knee down if you like, still working into the front of your right hip here as well. Nice deep breath in for 3, 2, 1. Let's take a twist. Hands come down through heart center. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, right elbow comes across outside of the left leg. Inhale, lift the torso up a little bit and then find a bit more rotation as you breathe out. So we always breathe out and move. So we find space as the air leaves the lungs, creating a bit more room within the chest cavity and the belly there to find a bit more movement in our posture. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale, coming back through center. Remember, we've got our kneeling side angle, so taking the left hand down on the inside of the left foot. Inhale, rise up with the right arm. Keep the hips nice and low if you can, rather than letting the hips travel towards the back of your mat. Opening up there. Perfect, good stuff. You could even use your arm here to press on the inside, or let your knee press against each other if you want to fire up the inner thigh a bit more. 2. And 1, well done. Bringing the right hand down, framing that front foot. Remember, we're going into standing splits next. So it's just catching the balance, lifting up with the back knee, taking a little hop forwards maybe, and a gentle float. You don't have to extend this standing leg if you don't want to, but make sure the hands are nice and close to that left foot if you can. Starting to extend a little bit more, perhaps starting to let the head lead you down and finding your kick up in your standing split there. Not going to stay here for too long. It is quite challenging. For 3. Keep kicking high with those right toes. 2. And for 1, lovely job. Floating back with your right foot and walking your hands around, coming into your wide-legged forward fold. So feet are nice and wide, toes slightly turned in. You can just stay here with the hands down the floor and the arms extended if that feels like enough, or you can start to melt your way down into that lovely release wherever you are. So finding your variation, your version of this wide-legged forward fold. And again, think about maybe moving the weight forward into the balls of the feet and out of the heels a little bit. So you feel the sit bones lift and you feel that lovely release through the spine. If you've been stood up all day or you've done something where you've been carrying a load on your back, really nice to find some space between the vertebrae as you hang upside down. Well done, folks. For 3, 2, and 1. Maybe pressing into the hands, maybe taking hands to hips, maybe bending the knees if you need to rise all the way up to find our triangle pose. Turning the left toes forwards, right toes remain out towards the side of the mat. 2 straight legs, floating up with the arms, finding that stretch, fingertip away from fingertip. Inhale. Exhale, start that gentle move forwards towards the front edge of your mat before you then start to lower down with the left hand and reaching up with the right hand. So if you're feeling a bit wobbly, keep looking down towards the floor, or maybe over at the horizon, or maybe up towards the top hand, whatever is going to work for you. Just remember to engage the glutes, find that expanse through the chest as we press forwards through the hips. For another 3, 2, and 1. Take the gaze down, soften the front knee, and let's take another big step forwards if you can. It can be 2, can be 1, it's up to you. Let's find chair. Inhale, rise up with the arms. Exhale, sink down. Nice work. Inhale to lift slightly. Exhale, release the arms behind. Well done. And again, inhale, lift. Coming down onto the mat next. Exhale, release. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, nice. Take the hands down onto the ground in front of the feet. Take a big step back. Drop the knees down to the ground. Let's take the weight forward. Take a kneeling plank, lowering all the way down into that low plank variation before lifting up through the chest and finding and upward facing dog. Lovely. Take the weight back into downward facing dog. Little stretch, little release out here. Well done. And from there, working into our back bend. So taking the weight forwards, squeeze of the abs, and we take it into plank, and then lowering down, all the way down, until we can come into our Sphinx pose. So sliding the fingertips forward. So we've got a few variations on our back bends here. So Sphinx pose, the elbows are underneath the shoulders and the forearms are connected to the floor. So as you breathe in, we're going to stretch out the abs and the chest and lift the front body, but feeling that connection through the hips. So if you've got quite an open lower back, you might not feel this so much. If that feels too tight for you, shuffle your elbows forwards a little bit, okay? If you're feeling okay to do so, on the next little flow, so I've got to say, we're going to release the forehead back down again. On the next flow, as you inhale to lift, you might want to start extending through the elbows, so the arms are becoming a bit straighter. The danger here is that we shrug the shoulders up next to the ears. I want you to relax the shoulders nice and long, way down the back. So strengthening into the arms a little bit here as well. Always invigorating the heart when we take these back bends. One more breath in. And then exhale, slowly coming down. Nice release here in crocodile. Left ear floats to the ground. Release the arms long. Bring the big toes to touch. And let your heels drop out to the side. So great for sciatica, great for helping and aiding any sort of curvatures or deviations in the spine. It's always nice to, I think, to rest on your front as well as you breathe into the back body. Not so good if you need a wee though. And the palms face up. Nice big deep breaths. Closing the eyes. One more breath here. Okay, well done. Inhale, come through centre. This time, take the arms out wide of the shoulders, so they're in line with the shoulders, just a bit wider. Tenting through the fingers. This is seal pose. So we're going to take an inhale and a squeeze and a lift. Again, dropping the shoulders down the back. So just finding as much height as you can, doesn't matter where you get to. Really working into that bend of the spine, stretch of the abs, as I said, really good for invigorating the heart. And then exhaling, coming all the way down, back into our crocodile on the other side. So the right ear comes down to the ground, releasing the arms back beside the body with the palms face up. This time try bringing the heels together and turning the toes out. So this is going to allow you to feel the inside of the thighs working a bit harder on this one. So just breathing your way again into the body. Calming the body. It's also very good for regulating your blood pressure, this pose, and unsurprisingly it helps you get to sleep. Just 2 more breaths here. Well done. Inhale, coming back through centre. Popping the arms down under the shoulders and pressing your way back into your tabletop pose. Well done, well done. All right, what time are we on? So coming down from here, let's take our legs out wide. So finding a comfortable seated position, make sure you've got space here. So finding a wide-legged forward fold. So options here, you can take the hands down to the ground. You might find you can bind around the toes. If you've got 2 tea towels, you might take one around either foot. See if you can feel that balance to the sit bones and think about that anterior tilt forwards from the hips. So you don't have to take the legs super wide. Okay, just have a little wiggle around so you feel comfortable. You can take the arms up into the air if you want, taking that lift first of all, if that helps you to lengthen and reach out as you fold forwards. If you've got something which you can rest your forehead on, if you come down so you're able to rest on a cushion, that's fine. You can always add a little bit of support in there. We're just resting on the forearms and think about the crown of the head leading forwards here on this one. So we're finding lots of space through the spine. Lots of work into the hamstrings on this particular flow, this chill 7 flow. All good, all good. So as I mentioned before about this biting point, it might be able to feel usually in the insertion of the hamstring at the top here, or you might be able to feel it more in on your lower back. And it always takes a little while to allow the body to relax into these poses. So we're just going to spend another 5 breaths here. You might want to close the eyes and just see if you can relax a little bit more into the posture. Working into the hips as well. Okay, final breath. Well done. As you take your next inhale, we're going to come all the way up and then we're going to come down onto our back. So just allow your legs to walk back in through the centre. You might want to take the soles of the feet down to the floor and gently allow legs to move together in that windscreen wiper one way and then the other. Back through centre one way and then final time. Well done. Okay, releasing your spine slowly back down to the ground. If you've got a support, a blanket, a cushion or a brick, just bring it with you. You might want to use that in a sec. So from here we're just going to work into the lower abdomen a little bit with some toe taps. So it's a Pilates move essentially, but I want you to feel that squeeze through the belly, so you're pressing down with the lower back into the floor. Floating up one leg at a time so the knees are over the hips and just allow the arms to rest down by the side body. So we're not going to make this too strenuous being at a chill session. I just gently want you to float down with the right big toe so you can tap it on the floor and then inhale back through centre. And then change over to the left side, tap down the left foot, inhale through centre. And just keep slowly moving, one down, then the other. So what you do really slow. The slower you go, the harder you're going to make it. Okay, another option here would be to tap down with the toe, slide the toe along the mat as far away from you as you can, and then draw a big circle back round into that knee over hip position. So drop down with the left toe this time, sliding away, all the while keeping your lower back on the ground. I'm just going to bring the mic a little bit closer. So tapping down one foot at a time, sliding the big toe away, releasing back round in that circle to the knee over hip position, sliding away on the other side. If you're feeling like this is, you want a bit more challenge, even though it's chill, you can take both legs at the same time. Trying to still control that movement, keeping the shoulders nice and heavy. Well done. Just taking one more here. Lovely, well done. Taking the hands onto the knees, start to draw the knees into the chest and then exhale the knees out and around into a nice little release into the hips. So just take a bit of another stretch out into the hips. We're going to take a reclined pigeon pose rather than a full pigeon. So we're going to take the left foot onto the right knee, and from here you could reach through between the legs, taking the hands into a basket around the backs of the thigh, or you might want to reach in front of the shin. But with it being chill, I want you to keep the abs relaxed, so just let the head come back down to the ground, so there's no need to lift the abs and the shoulders off the mat. Okay, so our aim, just like with our pigeon pose, is to release into the hips here, particularly the psoas muscle and the piriformis. So pressing the left knee away from you, whilst you keep that lower back connected to the floor, keeping the shoulders heavy. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Well done, release from there. And swap it over. Bring the left foot down, take the right foot up and then onto the left thigh. Reaching between the legs, you can take the right hand between and the left on the outside, making a basket behind the back of the left thigh, or maybe in front of the shin if you can, but just allow the head to return back down to the ground. So the aim here to press the right knee away from you towards the front edge of your mat as you flex through that lifted foot. That just helps you to protect the knee, shoulders heavy. So we store lots of emotion in our hips, lots of tension in the hips. If you do lots of running, those hip flexors can get, or they feel like they're getting quite short over the time. So enabling us to stretch them out gives a bit more room, a bit more space, helps us to lengthen out our stride when we're running. Okay, when you're ready, releasing from there. And again, just taking the knees into the air as the soles of the feet come down. We're then going to release into a spinal twist. So taking a breath in. As you exhale, allow both knees to travel over towards the right here. Now you can extend the arms if you like, and it might be that you want to lift up the bottom right foot and pop it onto your left thigh. That's just going to give you a bit more weight into that left leg, so you can feel your way into your IT band maybe a little bit more. If you find it's painful in the left knee, just pop it back down again and just wintry and wipe the legs and just hold it there. You might turn the gaze away over towards the left if that feels nice. I quite like adding my right leg onto the top of my left. Just adds a bit of a juicier variation to the stretch. For 3, 2, and for 1. Pop the right foot down before you then squeeze the belly and come back through centre, and then exhaling, maybe shuffling the hips over to the right a bit, releasing the legs over towards the left. Then you can stay here with by all means, maybe turning the gaze over towards the right, or if you fancy it, you can take that left foot onto your right thigh. So whatever works for you. See how it feels on the knees, see how it feels into the outside of this right hip as well, if you're feeling particularly tight there. Just allowing yourself to connect with the breath, relax the arms, relax the shoulders down. Maybe just noticing where you feel this stretch most. What have you been doing that's tightened up those areas? Maybe coming to that understanding that this is a nice counter stretch for a certain activity that you do. One more breath in. Release the top foot and then come back through centre. Alright, so we're going to have a go at a supported bridge or fish pose to finish off our session. This is where you might want a cushion or a brick or a rolled up blanket or something. Or you might just simply use the hands. So I'll show you the bridge variation first of all. Bring the heels nice and close towards the butt. We're going to inhale, rolling up through the spine, one vertebra at a time here. And it might be that you can either interlock the fingers and snuggle right up onto the shoulders, so lifting up here and finding as much arch through the spine as you can. Or it might be that you can use the hands to provide a little bit of support underneath the lower back. Or if you've got your brick, you can obviously take that on any side that you like. Again, just allowing the hips to feel a bit more open. Option here as well, if you feel supported with a brick or something quite, you can take the legs a little bit longer. That's just going to take that stretch a little bit deeper into the top of your hips. And maybe outstretch the arms. But if you've not got anything there to support, then feel free just to not take that option and just keep that lift. Obviously you can come down at any point, so whenever you're ready, you can start to release and roll down through the spine. Lovely job everyone, well done. Taking any little poses here just to neutralise, drawing the knees in, just pressing the lower back down into the ground. Maybe a happy baby, peace sign fingers around the big toes, soles of the feet to the ceiling. Nice long spine, deep inhalation. As you exhale, drawing the knees down, outside the shoulders. And just releasing the spine from there. Maybe a gentle rock from side to side if that feels good. And then releasing into your final position for Shavasana. Maybe corpse pose with the legs out long. Maybe you want to roll back onto your tummy and take that crocodile pose that you were in earlier on. Maybe you want to bring your feet together into a bound angle. And by all means, if you've got that blanket or cushion around, you can pop it behind the head, you can pop it underneath the hips. If if that feels nice. And just letting that breath flow. Drawing in a little bit of what you need on that inhale. Allowing yourself to release any tension, any pain, any frustrations on the breath out. Really tuning into the breath. Allowing it to be your guide. Maybe it allows you to relax through the body a little bit more. Maybe enjoying that sensation of creating space between the eyes. Relaxing the temples. Releasing your jaw. Letting your neck have no tension. Letting this wave of relaxation spread across your chest. Spreading down through your arms, all the way to your fingertips. Letting your chest feel relaxed and soft. Letting the belly also feeling nice and soft. The back of the shoulders, the full length of your spine, all those big strong back muscles releasing there. Letting that wave spread all the way down both of your legs to your toes. Taking another full breath in and out. And then starting to move and wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Maybe drawing the knees in towards the chest, having a gentle rock from side to side. And with it being a chill session, let's roll onto one side into that fetal position. Just taking another breath and then pressing into your top hand, allowing yourself to come up into that comfortable seat from there. Taking a little inhale and lift of the arms. And a nice long release as the hands come down to your heart centre. Thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. Hope you enjoyed that lovely little flow and you're feeling nice and relaxed and ready to enjoy the rest of your Monday. Take care everyone. Namaste. Thanks for joining. Well done folks.